This conversation class is a very interesting one. I do it every term, but this is the only one you'll probably see. It's one of these introduction type lessons. But the different thing is here, I talk about the rules of the conversation class. I talk about this to the students, and I want to try to convey the reasons we're doing it. And all of these reasons actually were put together by you guys, saying, I want conversation classes to do this, I want them to do that. And so I wrote a list of rules and goals and outcomes specifically for the students, just so they can look at everything that people have already said and said, okay, this is why we're doing this is why we're here in class today. And this, following this, we'll have a nice big round of introductions, a few games, some nice feedback, pronunciation stuff. Introductions are very important because we say the same sort of things, you know, the name, where we're from, how long we've been in the country, and you'll see certain problems cropping up again and again and again when people introduce themselves. So listen to the feedback, the grammar feedback, pause the video and think, do I say that? Or how would I say that? And then really try to correct some of those issues that come up. Because this is what we do, we meet people, we introduce ourselves to people, and we make the same little mistakes here and there. Really officially welcome everybody and everybody at home. Conversation classes. Actually, I wrote something that I'd like to read to you. So when I first put conversation classes together, I thought to myself, why am I doing this? Because normally I only teach grammar classes. But, you know, as I was teaching grammar classes, people were saying, oh, can we have more conversation? We want to talk more, because grammar can be a little bit boring from time to time. So, you know, and I listened to people, and people were sending me emails and putting requests. And I started saying, if you really want conversation classes, tell me why you want them, so that I can start helping you in different ways. And they sent me some information, and from that I wrote something based upon some of the things that they said they needed, and I'm going to read it out to you. So why do we have conversation classes? Well, we learn better if we experience something ourselves. And also when the knowledge that I teach, or that you teach, because you guys will be teachers here as well, when this knowledge is useful and important. As soon as something becomes useful, it goes in much easier. Sometimes I just chat and it's a bit boring, but hopefully sometimes it will be useful to you. So we need to learn pronunciation, we need to learn intonation, where we emphasize a word and stuff like that. We need vocabulary, we need social expressions, phrasal verbs, we need idioms, all those different things. We need to cross the stress of speaking in front of other people, especially English in front of other people. Some of us, especially on the lower class, they feel very blocked and they just can't speak, and that's okay. It's absolutely fine. This is a safe place for you to talk. It's a safe place for you not to talk. Both are okay. So sometimes I'll say, right, you, stand up and tell me this, and you'll go, oh, I can't do it. And that's fine. And slowly, you'll get there and you'll see that actually it's fine to stand up, it's fine to try, it's fine to make loads of mistakes, it doesn't matter. So our goals are to be able to talk more freely, not necessarily in good English. You don't have to use good English here. I'll be writing all the problems down later, so you know you'll have your little feedback session. We want to be able to understand more. We want to know how to act in certain situations, how to behave. You know, the correct British etiquette. You know, everybody has their own ways of behaving, and you know the British people have their own wonderful ways as well. We need to widen our vocabulary. So we do this I do a lot of vocabulary, phrasal verb and idiom work on these lessons. So not this lesson. This lesson is going to be very much like an introductory lesson where you introduce yourselves and stuff like that. But I do a lot of vocabulary. So sometimes at the beginning of every lesson I will read you a story with lots of different vocabulary in it. And I get you to then look at the story and make a decision on what that word really means. And you have a choice and you can guess and you can think about things. And then we try to use that vocabulary during the lessons to build up our... Because the brain is a muscle. So if we can use the same word over and over again, we start to learn it. So this is why we do it. And of course, as I said before, our goal here is to cross this fear we have of speaking English in front of other people. So what are the rules of conversation class? We need rules. English people, we like rules, don't we? Stand in a queue, don't jump, don't do that, mind the gap, please pay me, all those lovely rules. So the rules of this class are, we need to support each other, okay? Sometimes we're, especially when I put you in pairs, or I put you in little groups, and I say, right, okay, off you go, talk about this for 5 minutes, and there's a problem and you can't speak and you're trying to make yourself understood, or you can't for some reason, and it's up to you guys to support each other. Say, oh, do you mean this? Or sometimes you ask a question, because sometimes I will write questions and say, ask these questions to this person, and the person will go, I don't understand the question. And you have to try to explain it in a different way using different vocabulary, or maybe give an example. So lots of different things like that. So it's all about supporting each other here. And of course the other rule is I don't force you to do anything. Sometimes I ask you to stand up and do this, but if you don't want to, you just say, oh no, I can't today, and that's fine. How will we do this? Well, we're going to have discussion work, a lot of discussion work. Pair work, where I put you into pairs together. Maybe not you two together, but other pairs. In fact, I think you should swap right now. So maybe you could swap with this young man here. Wait, actually, do you know what? Let me just think about that for 1 second. Let me think. Right. 1, 2, 3. Right. So Sergio, if you could swap with Joseph, please. Swap places. That's better. That's more fun. So yeah, we discuss things in pairs, preferably with people you don't know. So if this week you're in a pair with, say, Francesca and Teoman together, next week try to sit next to somebody different. It's really important that you experience the challenges, the adventure of listening to somebody else in a different dialect, a different language, a different accent. Try to speak this language. We're at a big advantage here that all of you are intermediate or upper intermediate students. So you've got quite a good level already. In Chesham, I'm teaching upper intermediate and intermediate, but I also have some pre-intermediate students, and they need even more support. But don't forget, whether you're pre-intermediate, intermediate, upper intermediate, you're all going to need some support in this. You all need some support. So pair work, group work, sometimes presentations. Sometimes I get you to present something. Some games, some role plays. I'll say, you're a doctor, then do something. Sometimes we do some brainstorming where I say, give me all your ideas and I'll write down some ideas on the board. We might do that today. Of course, there's feedback, which you may have already experienced at the end of the lesson, where I approach you and say, this is your problem. What is your problem? And of course, pronunciation at the end, where we go through specific pronunciation.